Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's English learning session. I'm Shorts and Sweet. Today, we're exploring one of the most influential classics in English literature, Jane Eyre by Charlotte Brontë. Jane Eyre was published in 1847 under the pen name Currer Bell. At that time, women authors weren't taken seriously, so Charlotte Brontë used a male pseudonym. This novel was revolutionary because it portrayed a strong, independent female character who sought love but refused to sacrifice her principles. It was a bold story that challenged social norms of the Victorian era. Book's key information. Author, Charlotte Brontë, 1816 to 1855. Publication year, 1847. Setting, Victorian England, early 19th century. Main themes, love, independence, morality, social class, feminism. Jane Eyre follows the journey of a young orphan girl who grows up facing hardship and prejudice but becomes a strong, independent woman. The story explores themes of love, independence, social class, and the quest for identity. Let's dive into the story now. Summary of the story. The story begins with Jane Eyre as an orphan living with her cruel aunt, Mrs. Reed, at Gateshead Hall. Jane is mistreated and feels unloved, but she shows great courage and spirit. One day, after defending herself against her cousin's bullying, Jane is sent to Lowood School, a harsh charity school run by the cruel headmaster, Mr. Brocklehurst. At Lowood, Jane faces severe discipline and poor living conditions but finds friendship with Helen Burns, who teaches her patience and forgiveness. Jane also meets Miss Temple, a kind teacher who encourages her love for learning. Eventually, Jane excels in her studies and becomes a teacher at Lowood. Longing for freedom and adventure, Jane leaves Lowood to become a governess at Thornfield Hall, where she meets the mysterious and charismatic master, Mr. Rochester. Despite their differences in social status, Jane and Rochester develop a deep emotional connection. Jane falls in love with him, and he seems to return her feelings. However, Thornfield hides a dark secret. Strange noises and laughter echo from the attic, and Jane saves Rochester from a mysterious fire one night. Eventually, Rochester proposes to Jane, and she joyfully accepts. But on their wedding day, a shocking revelation stops the ceremony. Rochester is already married. His wife, Bertha Mason, is mentally ill and has been locked in the attic for years. Devastated and heartbroken, Jane refuses to become his mistress and leaves Thornfield, choosing her principles over her love for Rochester. She faces poverty and hardship but is eventually taken in by the Rivers siblings, who turn out to be her cousins. She inherits a fortune from her uncle, giving her independence and security. After rejecting a marriage proposal from her cousin St. John Rivers, who wants her to join him as a missionary wife without love, Jane returns to Thornfield, only to find it in ruins. She learns that Bertha set the house on fire and perished, while Rochester lost his sight and a hand while rescuing his servants. Jane reunites with Rochester, now humbled and vulnerable. She still loves him, and they marry, finally achieving happiness built on mutual respect and equality. Rochester eventually regains his sight partially, and they have a child together. Conclusion: modern relevance. Jane Eyre is not just a love story. It's a powerful tale of independence, self-respect, and moral integrity. Even today, Jane's journey inspires readers to stay true to themselves and fight for their dignity and equality. Modern lessons. Independence and self-respect. Jane refuses to compromise her values for love or social status, showing the importance of self-respect and integrity. Equality in relationships. Her love story with Rochester is based on equality and mutual respect, challenging the traditional roles of women in the 19th century. The importance of moral principles. Jane chooses to leave Thornfield even though it breaks her heart, showing her commitment to her moral beliefs. Overcoming hardship. Jane's resilience and courage in the face of adversity teach us to stay strong and hopeful, no matter the challenges. Jane Eyre remains relevant today because it portrays a woman's quest for identity, independence, and genuine love. It encourages us to seek relationships built on respect and equality. This timeless classic teaches us about courage, integrity, and the power of staying true to oneself. If you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you next time with more exciting stories from classic literature. Goodbye.